It's like this. It's Parshas Vo'era. Now, I want to let's learn together the first few psukim in the parsha. You have to have a bit patience. It says like this: "Vayidaber Elokim el Moshe, vayomer Elo v'ani Hashem, Vo'era el Avram el Yitzchok ve'el Yaakov b'keil Shakai, u'shmi Hashem shmi Havaya lo nidati lohem. V'gam hakimoisi es brisi itom l'seis lohem es eretz Canaan." V'goymer, v'gam ani shamati es nakas b'nei Yisrael asher Mitzrayim ha'avidim oisom v'ezker es berisi lochein emor l'bnei Yisrael ani havaya v'yitzesi eschem, etc. So Rashi says on the words bekel shakai. In other words, it says va'era el Avram el Yitzchok ve'el Yaakov bekel shakai. So Rashi says bekel shakai hiftachtim haftochos. I made promises. Ubekulam amarti lohem ani kel shakai. That the promises that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made to the Avos, he used the term kel shakai. And then Rashi says in the Zibur HaMaschil, loi noidati lohem. It says ushmi havaya loi noidati lohem. Rashi says loi hoidati ein ksivkan. It doesn't say I didn't inform them. Elo loi noidati, which means I didn't become known to them with the Shem Havaya. Loi nikarti lohem b'midas amitus sheli. I didn't become recognized. They didn't recognize me in the aspect of my truth. She'oleo nikra shmi Havaya. And why is that? Because Havaya stands for Ne'emon la'ameis dvorai. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kaviyachol is faithful to uphold his word. And why are we saying that HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't become known to them with the Shem Havaya? He didn't become known to them as one who upholds his word, because Shaharei hiftachtim v'lo kiyamti. I made promises and I didn't yet fulfill them. Then Rashi says, "V'gam akimoisi es brisi, v'gam kisheneresi lohem bekel shakai, hitzavti v'hemadeti brisi beini uveinehem," that I established the covenant between myself and them when I was seen to them as kel shakai. And then Rashi says, that all the promises that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made to the Avos about giving us the land were done with Kel Shakai, because LaAvraham beParshas Mila Nemar Ani Kel Shakai, and that's where HaKadosh Baruch Hu promises him the land. LeYitzchok, it says Ki lecho lizaracha etein es kol ha'arotz Yisrael v'hakimoisi es hashvua asher nishbati la'Avram v'oiso shvua asher nishbati la'Avram v'kel shakai amati. So it's as if kel shakai is repeated by Yitzchak, because it's the same shvua that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is promising to keep. And LeYaakov it says ani kel shakai prei urevei v'goyme v'esaoretz I will give to you harei shenadarti lahem v'lo kiyamti. So according to this pshat, which is the first pshat in Rashi, these psukim are really an introduction to the Lochein Emor L'Bnei Yisrael, Ani Havaya V'Yitzesi Eschem. In other words, until now, I was not yet known with my Midas Amitus Sheli. I haven't yet fulfilled my promises, but now I will fulfill those promises, and Memela, I will become known with the Shmi Havaya, which is the Midas Amitus of Ne'emon L'Kayim Dvorai. But Rashi only explained what Havaya stands for. Havaya stands for Ne'emon L'Kayim Dvorai, Midas Amitus Sheli. But what does Kel Shakai stand for? HaKadosh Baruch Hu revealed himself to the others with Kel Shakai. The Shem Havaya didn't become known to them, but what does Kel Shakai stand for? Doesn't say. Then later, Rashi in Pasuk Tes brings another pirush, Rabbi Seinu Dorshu L'Inyan Shel Mailo, that Chazal Darshan these psukim to be going on what was mentioned before. Moshe complained, Lama Harayosa, in the end of last week's parsha. It's a pity that on those that are gone and they no longer are with us. I should be complaining al misas ovis because harbe pomim niglesi aleim bekel shakai. V'lo yomru li mashemecha. I revealed myself to them with kel shakai, and they didn't question me. They didn't ask me, "What's your name?" So over here again, Rashi just tells us what HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not reveal to the Ovis. He did not reveal to the Ovis the Shmi Havaya. But again, he doesn't explain what is the Kel Shakai. But Rashi already told us what Kel Shakai means l'chorei in Parshas Lech Lecha. Because over there it says, Vayomer Elov Ani Kel Shakai his halech lefonai vehayei somim in the Parshas Hamila. Rashi says, Ani Kel Shakai, Ani hu sheyesh dai be'eloikusi l'chol birya. In other words, Kel Shakai means the Shakai is connected to the Kel, and it's like Kel Shaddai. That is, I'm a Kel that is die with my Kelness to sustain Kol Birya, Kel Shaddai. And that's l'chorei like Reb Saji Goyen says in our parsha, Kel Hatakif Shaddai Hamachalkel Olamoi Dei Sipkom. So that's this pshat. The reason that Rashi in Parshas Miketz again explains what Shakai is. Over there it says, "V'kel Shakai yitein lochem rachamim lefnei ho'ish." Rashi says, "V'kel Shakai shedai benesinas rachamov v'kedei hayecholes biyodoi litein yitein lochem rachamim." Zeu pshutay. So why does Rashi repeat over here what Shaddai means? Because the pasuk would give the impression, "Kel Shakai yitein lochem rachamim," that it's a shame of rachamim. Rashi's saying, no, it's not a shame of rachamim. It just means Shaddai. And in the context, it means Shaddai for whatever appears in the context. So over here, when he says, V'kel Shakai yitein lochem rachamim, the pshat is that he has enough to sustain the world, and he has enough to give you rachamim. V'kel Shakai yitein lochem rachamim. Now, upon this explains why Rashi, Rashi already explained the meaning of Shakai in Parshas Lech Lecha, he has no need to explain over here what Shakai is, and he only explains what Havaya is. The Ibn Ezra over here says, Milas Shakai kosher bepirush. V'hagoyen omar, this is not Reb Saji Goyen, it's another Goyen. Ki hashin noisaf, kishin she'ato medaberimi. That the shin is like Shaddai. V'hatam she'omar lo ilomoi dai. So this is a different pshat. She'omar lo ilomoi dai. It's also the same reading of Shakai, Shaddai, but not Shaddai be'eloikusi, but she'omar lo ilomoi dai. He said to the world, enough. V'loi eida tam lepirish there, says the Ibn Ezra, ki eich yikro shem asher dai. That is enough. The Ibn Ezra is uncomfortable with saying that a shame includes the word asher, that. In other words, Shaddai. He says that's not, it's not appropriate for a shame. Then he brings Hanogid Rav Shmuel Pirish Boy, Beloshen Arvi, Al Kahar, Upirushoy Menatseach V'Takif. V'hayud tachas ois hakefel kiyud dolyu shoykayim mipiseach. It's a pasuk in Mishlei. In any case, the word dolyu is really supposed to be dolalu, which means limp hanging thighs of a cripple. Dolyu shoykayim mipiseach. And sometimes the pasuk uses a yud instead of the kefel of the lamed. And it's really dolalu and it says dolyu. And this, in the same sense, Shaddai really should be Shaddad, Shoidei. shoideid. As the Ramban, who agrees with this pshat, says, Niresi la'ovis, b'koyach yodi asher ani shoideid boy hamazolois v'oizer lebechirai. That it means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu robs the mazolois, and he helps his chosen. So it's milosha shoideid, it's milosha a robber. And he says, "V'tzotku kol divrei Rabbeinu Avram Binyan zeh." Truth is, the Ibn Ezra was upset with the pshat of Asher Dai. Asher Dai, because he says, how could that be a Shem? But that's not only a Tmiya on the Goyen, it's also on Reb Saji Goyen that says, Hamachal koloi lomoy dai sipkom. Also on Rashi, who said, Sheyesh dai be'eloi kusi l'chol biryo. According to all of them, the Shin is an added Shin. Really, the word is Dai, and the word reads Sher Dai, as opposed to the Ibn Ezra, who says that the last Yud is instead of a second Dalid, and it's really Shoideid. But you know that it's a Mefurish Gemara like the Goren, because the Gemara in Chagiga says, Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav Daf Yud Beis Amid Aleph, Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. I mean, are you patient with me? Because we're mamish learning. We're learning Pashat Pshat, yeah, which is really the basis of everything. So the Gemara says in Chagiga Daf Yud Beis Amid Aleph, Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav, B'shoshe Bora HaKadosh Baruch Hu Es HaOlam, Hoyo Marchiv V'Hoylech, Yishtei Pikayois Shel Si. The world was expanding and expanding. Ad shegar Bo HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'Ha'emidoy, until HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kaviyochel yelled at the world and stopped it from expanding. Shenemar Amudei Shomayim Yiroifofu V'Yismohu Miga'arosa. V'hainu Domer Resh Lakish. Mai diksiv ani kel shakai, ani hu shomarti lo'oilami dai. So Resh Lakish says that the taich of shakai is she omar lo'oilami dai, the pshat that the Ibn Ezra doesn't tolerate. It appears in the Gemara in the name of Resh Lakish, and this pshat Rashi also brings in Parshas Miketz. And he says, this is really in the Pirkei Rebbe Lezer, v'hoyu moischim v'holchim at she'omar lohem dai, v'alkein nikra shemoi Shaddai, she'omar l'shamayim dai v'omdu. And Rashi brings this as a second pshat in Parshas Miketz, where he says, u'midroshay misha omar lo'ilomoi dai, yoyme dai l'tzoroisai. When Yaakov says to his sons when they're going to see Yosef, v'kel shakai yitein lochem rachamim, he means to say, Misha Amar Loi, Lomoi Dai, Yoimed Dai Litzeroisai. The one who said enough to the world, and stop the world from expanding more, he should say enough to my tzoras, Shaloi Shokatati Min Urai. I never had a good day. Tzoras Lovon, Tzoras Esav, Tzoras Rachel, Tzoras Dina, Tzoras Yosef, Tzoras Shimon, Tzoras Binyamin, and Misha Amar Loi, Lomoi Dai, Yoimed Litzeroisai Dai. So we see that Chazal did say that the shin of Shakai is Shaddai. She Omaloi Lamoi Dai. Okay. Now the Abravanel over here says, V'nisha lefarish ma inyan shem kel Shakai shenidkar b'psukim ha'ele. Yeah, why is it being mentioned over here? Kvaro isi divrei Avram ben Ezra sheborach mi pirish hagoin shepirish Shakai she'omaloi Lamoi Dai. He didn't like that pshat. V'loi nocha das Ibn Ezra b'zeh. Upirish hu olav sheshakai in yonei shoideid ha'ma'arochos. He robs the ma'arochos u'mevatlom kirtzoinoi. Oy hu kedivrei hanogid Rav Shmuel menatzeach v'takif u'shneim kroivim be'inyan ha'omnom imay staklos ein ha'emesithim. If you think about it, the truth is not with them. Lefisha imay yoisak hel yizborach mevatlam ma'arochos el yonis. It's true that HaKadosh Baruch Hu controls and overcomes and does what he wants, and he's not he doesn't need to conform with the ma'arochos el yonos. Hine ein ro'ui sheikore shoideid oy meshadeid ki inyan shoideid hu ma'aval v'choymetz. I mean, a robber is a negative term, says the Abravanel. And how would we use that? He says, he brings all kind of psukim where shoideid appears in a negative sense. But B'toyar meguna asher kozeh. Aval amita sayinin k'may shepirish Rabbeinu Sadia, that Shakai is Misha Omar Lo Olam Oidai. It wasn't really Rabbeinu Sadia. He thought that the Goyen was Rabbeinu Sadia, but it's a different Goyen. It doesn't matter. The pshat of Shah. The Eiroi Lahakshois Mi Pas Hashin Jehu B'Mokaim Asher. In other words, don't be bothered by this kasha that the Ibn Ezra asked how the word Asher, that, could be part of Hashem. The Eich Tipel B'Shem Anichbot. Kihine Motzinu Le'il. In Parshas Shemois. Ekye Asher Ekye. Ben Shnei Shemes Hagdoshim. Haheim Bo Milas Asher. Smucha LeEkye Arishon. Ekye Asher. So he says that that's not a kasha. Anyway, and it's Sh'Omer Lo Olam Oidai. And he now explains the Inyan Zeh Shehine Mashe Yoyre Heyois HaOlam Nivre Berotzen Roitze V'Kavonis Mechuven. What shows that the world was created by Hashem's will. V'she'ene al tzad hachiyuv. It's not something that had to be, but it was a willful act. What shows that? Shiur ha'olam, v'shiurei hashamayim v'kochaveim. In other words, the measure of the world, the measure of shamayim v'kochaveim, u'misperei hascholam anivdolim u'malach yashoros, the numbers and the measures. Sheloi hoisa hagbolas shiurim u'misparam ela davar etzoini mimenu yizborg. It's only if it was created willfully that the world comes to an end. In the Pirkei Rebbe Lezer, shehoyu hashamayim nimtochim v'holchim ad omar lahem dai roitza loyme sheloi hoyu hashamayim ba'oisoi shiur shehei mach masibas hachoymer shenasu mimenu. It's not because the material ran out. Yeah, that's why the world comes to an end. Ein adavar came. Kiheim lo nivru midavar. It wasn't created out of any material. V'lachein hoya efshe lihiyoisam nimsachim v'holchim. It could have continued to expand. Ela shakel yizborach ra b'chachmasay shezeh hashiur hanois lahem v'hu amorai she'omar lo'olam oidai. Okay. Now, the Ibn Ezra, according to his mahalach, that the Shem Shakai means that he's a shoideid umenatseach, that he robs and defeats nature. So he explains what it means that it says over here, Va'era El Avrom El Yitzchak Ve'el Yaakov Bekel Shakai Ushmi Avaya Lo Neidati Lehem. Why was HaKadosh Baruch Hu Nisgala to them Bekel Shakai and now the Shem Avaya? So he says, V'hinei ha'avois lo higio ma'alosam lidovka b'Shem k'Moshe. The others weren't on the madrega of dveikus like Moshe. Asher yodoi Hashem ponim b'fonim. Al kain hoyo yochel Moshe l'shanois toldois olam hashofel u'lechadesh oises u'moifsim. Therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu, because of his high madrega, was able to actually change nature. Shelo yochlu ha'ovis l'chatshom. The others couldn't be mechadesh oises u'moifsim that totally break the rules of nature. V'hinei Moshe amar shnei dvar. Moshe said, Lama zeh shelachthoni. Why are you sending me? V'hasheni v'hatzei lo hitzalto es hamecha. V'heishev ala achron. Aitaka didn't save them yet. Ato sira, now you will see asher es alafar. V'alo rishon. On the question, Lama zeh shelachthoni. V'yoyme elav ani avaya. What is that? V'atam. Ki al yedei ha'ovois noida shmi shu kel shakai. Through the office, I was only known as a Kel Shakai, which according to him means that I rob and defeat nature, but not as a creator of something new after the world was created. Ki al yidei office noida shmi shu Kel Shakai v'al yotcho yivoda shmi Hashem shmi Havaya hanichbod ba'olam kasher omar lochein ha'moilav bnei Yisrael ani Havaya. Not so clear. The Ramban is marchiv this pshat, and he says, "V'achochem Reb Avrom, the Inyan HaKosov, kinire lo ovois b'shem hazeh shehu menatzeach marchas hashamayim." He revealed himself to the others with this shame that he robs and defeats the natural process. V'lasois imam nisim gedoylin, but sheloi nisbatel mehem min hagoylam. Nisim happened to the office, but it didn't break the rules of nature. Berov poda oisa mimavis ubimulchama midei cherev v'loseis lahem oisha v'chavod v'chol toiva v'heim kechol ha'yeudim b'torah b'brachas u'klolis ki lo yisavoy al odom toiva b'schar mitzvah oiro b'oinish avera rag b'maisanes. That's like the Ramban says in Parshas Boy. It's all this in the story. Otherwise, why would reward ever come to the righteous, and why would punishment ever come to the evil? So that's also something that involves Shaddai in the sense of robbing and defeating nature, because but it nevertheless operates within the framework of nature. But schar kol haTorah v'onshu ba'olam hazeh hakol heim nisim v'heim nistorim. Yechoshev b'hem l'royim shezeh minhagei shel olam. People could see it as minhagei shel olam, but v'heim ba'odam oynish u'schar be'emes. U'mipnei zeh tarich haTorah b'yiudim sheba'olam hazeh v'loi tivar yiudei hanefesh ba'olam hanashamis ki eile moifsim shekeneged haToilada. Anyway, he goes on, and now he says, "V'hinei Omar ha'elikim leMoshe nir'esi la'avois b'koyach yodi asher ani shoydeid boy hamazolos va'oizel lebchira avol b'shmi shel yudkei vavkei asher boy niye kol hoive lo noidati lehem." The shame yudkei vavkei is the shame that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mahave, which means yesh me'ayin livrei chadoshes b'shinui ha'toilodos. ולכן אמור לבני ישראל אני הוויה ותדע להם פעם אחרת השם הגודל כי בוי אני עושה עמהם להפלי וידעו כי אני השם עושה כל. Okay, so according to this, that this pasuk is a hagdama to the shlichus of Moshe Rabbeinu to redeem the Jews. So that's the pshat, that now this redemption will be a neis golui that's outside the mareches of the mazolas, like Kriyas Yamsuf and the Esamakis, and this is related to the Shem Havaya. This didn't happen in the time of the Ovis, where Hakadosh Baruch Hu was noida only with the shame of Kel Shakai. According to the Derech Rabbi Seinu that Rashi brings, that this is going back as a rebuke, as a teichecha to Moshe Rabbeinu. We still need to understand what's the Indian of the Shem Shakai over here. Yeah, what's the Indian of the Shem Shakai over here? So the Ramban says, Gama midrash hazeh in yonim misyashiv acham mikra ki yok shalahem lama yaskin nevuas ovis lifchois ma'alosam b'nevuah. The Chazal had a problem, had a kasha. Why would the pasuk now say that the ovis weren't on this madrega? We're on a lesser madrega. Why would the pasuk be mentioning that? That to the office I wasn't yet nesgala with the shame havaya, only with a, so to speak, a lesser shame of Kel Shakai. That I'm redeeming them. They weren't on your madrega. They only saw me on the level of Kel Shakai. Nevertheless, they had full faith. You have access to a higher madrega of Elikus. You know me as shame, with a shame avaya. So the reason that the Torah is mentioning over here, that Kodesh Baruch Hu is mentioning the fact that he was nesgala to the Ovois only with Shakai is a teichecha to Moshe Rabbeinu. They believed even though they saw less, and you saw more, and you still don't believe. Really, this appears also in the Kuzori, in Maimer Beis. The Kuzori says, I won't read you the whole thing, but he says, "V'yitachin kilazenes kaven ha'eloika ba'amoroi va'era el Avram v'goymer bekel shakai." Zoy meres, what's kel shakai? B'derech hakoyach v'hashilton. K'moisha omar hakosov lo hiniach leish la'oshkom v'yoichach aleim melachim. Yeah, this is what we say every day in davening. We're talking about Avram and Yitzchak and the episodes that they had with the Malachim, which is Avimelech and Paroi, that took away their wives. And lo hiniach leish laoshkom vayoichach. He gave toichecho. He punished aleihem Malachim. Yeah, but that was loy b'derech hanes. Shehu bria asher bora ha'eloika. Ki benisim asher asa l'moshe l'Yisrael. Ki pirush ushmi havaya lo noidati lem hu uvishmi havaya habeis shel bekel shakai mishameshes gam esmilas ushmi ki l'moshe l'Yisrael asa ha'eloika nisim asher lo hishiru sofek belev. To Moshe and Klal Yisrael at Yetzias Mitzrayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu did miracles that left no doubt in anyone's heart. Shehu borei ha'olam. Rak hu boras advarim ahem bria chadosha mechuvenes rishonis. Kach makois Mitzrayim ukriyas yamsu v'hamon v'amud ha'onon v'oid kol eile nasu lohem liYisrael loy al heyoisam gdoilim me'Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov. HaKadosh Baruch Hu did these miracles to Klal Yisrael at Yetzias Mitzrayim, not because they were on a higher madrega than Avram, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Ki im mehayoisam kohol rav. Since now we're dealing with masses, asher hasofik motzo loy mokoim b'liboisam. That's within so many people, a whole nation. There has to be people that there's doubt in their heart, and therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to reveal Himself more. Ha'avois le'umaz there. They had pure hearts. Even if they would live a life of suffering, it wouldn't. Their emunah wouldn't be shaken. So this is according to the pshat that this is a teichecha, that to the office I didn't need to reveal so much, and unfortunately, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying now. I need to reveal more. According to Rashi, that Shaddai reads as Yesh Dai Be'eloi Kusi, not the Pirush of Shoidei, like the Ibn Ezra and the others, but Yesh Dai Be'eloi Kusi L'chol Birya. So l'chara we could also read it like the Ibn Ezra just said, and the Kuzari and the Ramban, and that's as it says in the in the Reishis Chochmah, that Eloikim is Bigematria Hateva. But often that the meaning of Yesh Dai Be'eloi Kusi, L'chol Birya, means that there's enough within the natural world, Yesh Dai, within the natural world, Yesh Dai Be'eloi Kusi, L'chol Birya, to sustain all the brias, to sustain all creation. All creations, and also to give reward and punishment. All that is Yesh Dai Be'eloi Kusi. In other words, without breaking the rules of nature. Reb Tzaddik Hakoyen Milublin in the Pri Tzaddik on Pesach, Ois Kotten Lamed, he brings the pasuk Gedolim Masei Hashem Drushim L'chol Chefzeim. Wondrous, great are the acts of Hashem. Drushim l'chol chefzeim. Pashat pshat means that they're accessible to all that want them. But what does this pasuk mean? Says Reb Tzaddik, Yodua ki kol ma shebora HaKadosh Baruch Hu ba'olamo hu kedei sheyikach ha'adam mimenu limud la'avodas Hashem. Everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created in the world is in order for us to learn something in avodas Hashem. V'sha'akol bara l'chvoidoi. U'kemoisha oimrim b'shem harav HaKadosh mipshischa. Al ma she'omru Shaddai she'omar lo'ilomoi dai. Hainu shu dai l'ilmoi nimeru hakaras Hashem Yisborach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, this is enough. In other words, there's enough in this world for people to have a way to find me, to recognize me. Ukesheba Avram Avinu olav hasholem v'ro bira doilekes tama efshel bira b'loy manigat shehitzes olav hakadosh baruch hu v'ama ani hu balabira, which he's learning that it's not like a special revelation, but it really means that he was able to find the Rebbeinu Shalom in nature. And he says that the Rebbe Rabbeinu Mipshischa, Pirish b'zeh mashenemar, molo ha'oretz kinyonecha. Poshe pshat, molo ha'oretz kinyonecha, the world is full of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's possessions. But he said, Shekol ha'oretz nismala mikinyonim sheyikne ha'adam al yidei zeh, yidiyas Hashem Yisborach. The world is full of kinyonecha, meaning of things through which koine the Rabbeinu Shalom. Mikinyonim sheyikne ha'adam al yidei zeh, yidiyas Hashem Yisborach. Uma Hashem Yisborach roitzim imenu. V'chol davar shebo leneged einei adam. Anything a person sees, b'kivun u'b'ashgochet pratis nizdamein davar zeh leneged einov, Kedei sheyilmoid mimena, u'kamoishe mesaprim me'arav HaKodesh Rebbe Reb Zusha, sheholach b'derech letumai. He was walking. U'bo lenegdoi oral, a guy came lenegdoi, and ubikesh mimenu sheyisayehu lahamid es ha'agola im shachas. He had a wagon with hay. He says shekoirin hay, and he asked him to help him. It fell, and he helped him to pick it up. The Rebbe Reb Zusha said he can't. He's not capable, not able. The Heishiv lo ya'oru. Yes, so the guy said to him, Yochel lata, aval ein charoitze. You could, but you don't want. V'amal zeh harav HaKodesh hanal sheramzu lo she'ahei tato. You know that there's a hey tato of the Shem Havaya, the bottom hey. She'ahei tato noflo. Yeah, that he asked him to pick up the hay, help him pick up the hay. That really this was a remez min hashamayim, that the hay of the Shem Havaya is fallen, and you could pick it up, but you just don't want to. Yes, so that's the v'chein ma she'amru b'gemara reish soite, Rebbe Yoimer Lama Nismach Parshas Nozil Parshas Soite Loimer Lechos Shekol Aroya Soite B'Kol Kulo Yazer Atzmo Min Hayayin V'Lama Yazer Atzmo Ahu Lo Yichota Raku K'mo Amarti Shekevon Shehizmin Hashem Yisborach L'Neged Einav Asoite B'Kol Kulo Ein Zo Elo Kedei Sheyilmad Lahazer Atzmo Min Hayayin V'Zeu Shenem Agdoi L'Masei Hashem B'ma She'em Drushim L'Chol Chavtzeim Shekol Mi Shechafetz Likach Eze Limud L'Avodosa Yisborach Yochoi Likach L'Atzmo Min Ma'aseh Hashem. So, when we say Yesh Dai Be'eloi Kusi L'Chol Birya, it means that the natural world, Hashamayim Esaprim Kvoit Keil, is enough to recognize the Rebbeinu Shalom, and also experiences that every person has in his own personal life are hints that hint to him the Rebbeinu Shalom's presence, and it gives him the ability to find the Rebbeinu Shalom. So, ba'ofen, that whether the posik is a hakdama to Moshe Rabbeinu Shlichus, or it's a teichecha on the Inyan Shel Maila, it's misparish like these Rishonim. That sheyesh dai beloi kusi, the office that was enough for the office, and for you it's not enough. But according to Reish Lakish, who said that shakai means she'omar lo ilomoy dai, what's the shaykhis over here, and what's the Inyan of the gilui of this shame to the office? You know, Rashi says on the pasuk v'kel shaka yitein lochem rachamim lefnei ha'ish, as we mentioned in Midrashoy, misha amar lo ilamoy dai yomer letzorosay dai. The makor is in the Tanchuma, misha amar lo shamayim va'oretz dai yomer leYisuray dai. Lefi shechshabora HaKadosh Baruch Hashemayim va'oretz hoyinim tochim v'holchem ad she'amar lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu dai. So l'maisa it's a pella. What's the shaychis of the Omar Lo Ilomoy Dai that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said enough, the world shouldn't expand anymore, and therefore say enough to my tzaras? What's the connection? But you know that the Arizal says that Olam is Miloshen Halem. Olam is Miloshen concealment, because the Olam as is conceals the Einoid Milvada. There are many tzimtzumim, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not apparent in the Bria. And the tachlis of the tzimtzum and the halem of olam is in order that a person should have choice. He should be able to deny or admit the presence of Hashem. And therefore the halem was measured, because if it'll be too much concealment, a person will never be able to find the Rebbeinu Shalom. If there'll be too little concealment, a person would not have choice. So that's the measure of Omar La'oi Lomoi Dai. That the Helam, it's enough Helam. It's just right. It's just right. So the Lefize, both Pirushim and Rashi, Sheyesh Dai Be'elikusi L'chol Birya, and She'omar La'oi Lomoi Dai are really two sides of the same coin. That mitzad echad, there's enough Gilu Elikus in the world. That's Yesh Dai Be'elikusi L'chol Birya. There's enough revelation, and on the other hand, there's enough Helam. Yeah, there's enough concealment. And so it says in the Sefer Mo'or V'Shomesh in Parshas V'Eschanon. He says the Issa B'Gemara Lama Nikra Shmoi Shakai She'omar Lo'i Lomoi Dai She'ilulei Kain Hoyu Adayim Moischim V'Holchim V'Koshe V'Chiloi Hoyo Yochoi Litin Deisi Puka Mafilim Hoyu Moischim V'Holchim Tomid V'Lama Omar Lo'i Lomoi Dai V'Nira the HaKadosh Baruch Hu Bora Kol Almin Hoyo Ritzoynoi HaPoshut Rak Lehetiv Lebruav Achshir Ritzoynoi Hoyo Lehetiv Lehem Al Yidei Sheyasu Shashuin Lefonav Yizborach Lechem Tzimtzei Meloi Kusoi Me'ilo le'ilo Ad Shebora Olam HaGashmi Hazeh V'nosan Lefneim Es Harav Es HaToiv K'dei Sheyivcha Rodem B'chaim Al Yidei Sheyimshol B'Yitzroi V'yimaz B'Rav V'yivcha B'Toiv V'ein Shum Dover Shelo Yiyah Boi Pnimis Alikusei V'av B'zeh Ha'olam Meir Pnimis Alikusei Rakshi B'Helem Godel V'lachein Yochel La'odam Lintois La'ezeh Derech Sheyivcha V'im Odam Nitzvus Chalila Be'ezeh Avera Yochel Haskir Esatz Melachze B'Tshuva Lefonav Machmas Pnimis Alikusei Shemer B'zeh Ha'olam V'heven HaKadosh Baruch Hu She'im Yitzamtzei Eloikusa Yoseh, yeah, if the world will be Nimtach V'Hoilach, which means the Helam will be more, Yizgashem Ha'olam Yoseh Midai, V'yeh Bilti Afsharish Odam Yuchel Lintois Es Atzmei L'derech HaToiv V'lasis Yitzoyne. So Lefizeh, when it says by the mitzvah Smila, yeah, so it says by the mitzvah Smila, Vayera Hashem al Avram Vayom Elav Ani Kel Shakai, His Halech Lefarnai V'heyei Samim. Rashi says, "Ani kel shakai sheyesh dai be'elikusi l'chol birya v'lefichach his halach lefanei v'heyei tamim." What's the lefichach? What does that mean? Since I have dai be'elikusi l'chol birya lefichach his halach lefanei v'heyei tamim. So I think the pshat is because a person was created with a natural orlo, as the chinuch says that's in order that he should complete himself, and that's the his halach lefanei. Not like it says by Noach Eser Elikim. Lefanei means beyond. In other words, beyond nature. In other words, the Hasara Sa'arla is really going a step beyond where nature brought me. I was born with an Arla, and I'm going beyond. So that's the Lefonai. So, Yesh Dai Be'elikusi L'chol Birya. In other words, because there's a helam in this world, there's concealment. But not too much concealment. In other words, I left room. The concealment is for the purpose of allowing you to complete yourself, and that's and you have the ability to go that extra step, and that's the mila. And the mila, he says, "Ani kel shakai his halech lefonai v'heyei samim." I brought it till here. You take it to the next step, and just like the world in general. Miloshen Hel is Miloshen Helam that it conceals the divine truth. So also Balei Madrega have their own particular nisyonis that conceal the Rebbeinu Shalom in their own personal experience. Like the pasuk says, Nistero Darki Me Hashem. And that's because those individuals have the ability to find the Kel Mistater even when their Helam is a greater Helam. And that's the Indian of the Tzoris and the Yisurim that Tzaddikim suffer. And therefore Yaakov said, Misha Amaloi Lomoi Dai, Yoimel Tzoroisoi Dai. In other words, he felt that he got to the end. In other words, more concealment he can't handle. The whole purpose of the concealment of Tzoris is in order to bring a person to the next Madrega that he should be able to rise from those Yisurim, but he's saying, Misha Amaloi Lomoi Dai, you put an end to the concealment. Yoimel Tzoroisoi Dai, because the personal concealment that I'm experiencing it came to the end. It's die. It's die. Enough is enough. And as I state in the Sfasemes and Parshas Vayigash, You know that Yehuda says V'hoyakir oisoi ki ein hanar, that if Yaakov Avinu will see that the nar is not with us, v'meis, yeah, v'hoyridu avodecha esevas avdecha beyogain she'olam. So he's saying that if we're not going to bring back Binyamin, Yaakov Avinu is going to die. Says the Tzvas Emes in Tov Reish Lamed Tes, v'kosher minole liYehuda sheyomus k'shir sheinanar. How is Yehuda saying this? How does he know his father's going to die? V'nire shelomad zeh mima she'omer lahem Yaakov Avinu olav hasholem v'kel shaka yitem lochem rachamim. Upirish Rashi mi she'omer lo ilamoy dai yomer dai letzoroisai. Now says the Tzvas Emes, v'Yaakov Avinu lo hoya omer kain lulei sheyoda ki benafshoyu. Yaakov Avinu wouldn't say enough with the tzoros if he wouldn't feel that he's not going to be able to take it, right? Benafshayu. For others hakdoshim masru nafsham avur till they say him v'yodu ki kol over aleimu b'shvil doros hasidim lovay. They knew that every amida ben Yisrael, that their oimid is something that has a lasting tayelis for all the doros, and therefore umehai time aloi kosher lom aloi hoidia Yosef la'oviv. Imki godlo rachame ha'av ala ben Yosef mi ben olav rakulam lamdu me'abari yisborch kimin shehelam hu yisborch mimenu yodua kitlu l'tevasayu. So v'rakeshi higia ad mitzui hanefesh mamish. When Yaakov Avinu got to the point that he couldn't go any further, k'moishe omru chazal ala posik v'kel shaka yitin l'chem rachamim, that he said, enough with my tzoros. L'chein yoda Yehuda because there's no tachlis in suffering anymore. When there's no tachlis in suffering anymore, he's going to die. So in other words, the request of Yoimar L'Tzoroisai Dai comes from the understanding that the Hester upon him is no longer has no tachlis anymore. In other words, that always Hester upon him is for the tayelis of allowing me to grow. But when there's no growth anymore, so the tzora has no tachlis. Just like Omar lo'oilamoy dai, yoimar litzoroisai dai. Yeah. So the thing is like this. In the Aleinu, in the Alkei Nekavalacha, we say lirois mehera b'seferes uzecha. Yeah, I think it was much too long and much too complicated. Okay, we'll try to do something simpler next time. But the thing is like this: in Alkei Nekavalacha, you mustama notice that we say lirois mehera b'seferes uzecha lahavi gilulim min haaretz v'alilim koris yikoresim lesakein olam b'malchus shakai v'chol b'nei basa yikru b'shmecha. L'chayre la'asad lavoi is the chiyah Hashem echad u'shmoi echad. It's the fullest revelation of the Shem Havaya. Kishem shani nichtav ani nikra. It should have said l'saken olam b'malchus Havaya. Why are we saying l'saken olam b'malchus shakai? That shame is a shame that before HaKadosh Baruch Hu was known with the Shem Havaya, he addressed us with the shame of shakai. So it's a lesser madrega. Why should we be saying that la'ased lavai l'sakein olam b'malchus shakai? So I think the pshat is according to the what we brought from the Kuzari, that the gilui of the Shem Havaya to Yidden by the Nisim Gluyim, which have an element of a Bria Chadosha and not just robbing and defeating the nature. So what did the Kuzari say? It's loy al hey yoisam gdoile me Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov, not because we're greater. Ki im me hey yoisam kol rav asher asofik motzah loy mokam bili boisam. It's because we're on a lesser madrega. We need a greater measure of revelation in order to sustain our emunah. That's why the HaKadosh Baruch Hu is megala the Shem Havaya. So the Tikkun Olam b'malchus shakai means that we'll go back to the madrega of the others, that their emunah didn't need chizuk, and it was enough. The Shaddai be'eloikusi l'chol birya. So in other words, even though la'ased lavoi avada, there'll be the shleimus hagilui of the Shem Havaya, but it won't be because of the need of the mekablim. because Adirabba, the Makablim will be misala to the Madrega of the office that can handle Shakai. And that's why we say Lasake Noilo Malchus Shakai. Okay, Rabbi Sai, I want to wish you a good Chodesh. And Rosh Chodesh Shvat is a very special day. It's the day that Hoyel Moshe Be'eres HaTorah Azoi Sleima. And from Rosh Chodesh Shvat till Zayin Oder, Moshe Rabbeinu, said the Chumash Devarim, but this was the day of Hoyel Moshe Be'eres HaTorah Azoi Sleima. Okay, I wish you all a good Shabbos. Okay.